Hello, friends, and welcome to Doing Life Together, episode 46. It is Sonia Eckel, your host, and I'm excited to be here with you. I'm actually trying out a new green screen, and I'm just going to tell you straight up, it works a lot better in Zoom than it does in my live casting software I'm using tonight. So, hey, but I actually love my green screen. So, Instagram, you're seeing green behind me. And if you all want to learn how and why you would ever use a green screen, um, by the way, if you want to see the green screen I just got that I love, it is at if you go to sonyasfaves.com, and faves has an E in it. So SonyasFaves.com. Okay. That's where the green screen is. I got a new one. I've had one, and this one is so much better. And it's retractable, so I can also lower it and show the wall behind me, which is super cool. So, anyway, that's a side note. That's not what we're talking about tonight. Tonight, we are actually talking about keeping our fur babies healthy. So, you guys know that I am all about health and wellness and wellness tips and hacks and things that ultimately my kind of goal, if there was something, okay, I got asked a question recently. If there was one thing that you could change in the world, like when I leave this planet, and if this was one thing that I had an impact on that changed, what would it be? And I thought, wellness is up there. But then you know what I actually came down to? I was like, oh my word, if there's just one thing that I could impact while I'm here on planet Earth, but I could impact that one thing, hands down, I knew what it would be. It would be Jesus. Like learning the incredible gift that God sent his one and only son, and that it covered everything. And then if you read my book, Walking in His Promises, um, it's all about the incredible goodness of God and what we have access to in a totally different realm, like within that supernatural realm. Because what I love about that is that it encompasses your health, because that is actually good health is your inheritance. Like it is. When you read the Bible, like it's fascinating everything it says about health. And how about finances? Like I wish for everyone, I would love to leave people with strong finances, because I truly believe that financial stress is one of the things that causes a lot of illness, honestly, and a lot of broken relationships and so many things. And so if I could make a difference, I would help everyone have financial health, physical health, psychological health, emotional health, and all of it. When I just boil it down, it's all found in Christ, in Jesus. It's mind blowing. And somehow religion has gotten it all twisted up, and it's just interesting. So, again, that's not what we're talking about tonight either. But anyway, random thoughts. We're going to talk about your fur babies, though, and good health, keeping those little members of our family or big members of our family healthy and safe is a huge priority to me, because, and I'm guessing to you, we get so attached to these little beings. The only unfortunate thing, or fortunate, I don't know, the bummer is that for most of our animals and pets, most of them, the human life outlives them, right? So typically that's how it's supposed to be anyway. And so the idea is how can you extend and enhance and create the best possible life for your fur baby, your kitty, your dog, your gerbil, your hamster, your chickens, your whatever, fill in the blank. Now, there are some exceptions. There are certain animals that actually tend to outlive their owners. Fascinating. Aren't parrots one of them? Anyway, I don't know much about parrots, but I have really tried to research, especially we have a dog. So our dog is Maple, and we had before Maple, we had a standard poodle, red poodle, Pepper. I was so deeply attached to that dog. I just loved her so much and did everything that I thought was best. However, even since her passing, I've learned more about health of pets. And I made a couple decisions in her life that if I could go undo them, I would undo them. And so I'm going to share that with you tonight. It's maybe not everyone's going to agree, but that's okay. We're doing life together. We don't have to agree on everything, and we can still love one another and talk about stuff, right? Now, I have to, of course, disclaim that I am not a veterinarian, although that was my dream as a little girl. I really thought I wanted to be a vet. I digress. I'm not a vet, and this is in no way expert advice, health advice. This is just doing life together, sharing some things that I am currently feeling around pet health. So Pepper, I believe she was probably born with a heart murmur. From the time she was very young, when she'd rip around, she would stop and cough. And then with age, of course, that got worse. And at one point I brought her in because I wasn't sure what exactly was going on. And when I brought her into the vet clinic, I did something that my mama self, I can't believe I did it. Okay. Because I'm like a mama bear when it comes to what gets or does not get put into my kids' bodies, ideally. Now, a couple of them are adults, and ultimately, I know we only have so much, ability to impact things, but I've certainly tried to make very educated decisions. And in this moment, I did not make an educated decision. I just did not. And I didn't even do what I should have known to do. But we went in, she was already coughing, but doing okay, but coughing. Like I was going in, hey, can we help her with this cough? And the vet said, oh, she's due for her rabies and a couple other things. And here's a new heartworm medicine. And so don't ask me why, but I blindly said yes. And I regret that. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because maybe if you happen to be in this situation, maybe you'll go home and you'll Google some things and you'll research and you'll do some stuff, because I didn't. And you know me, I'm always like, hashtag do your research. And I didn't do it. And honestly, I let my baby down. Like that was not the right thing. So we did what was recommended, and she plummeted, like dramatic downslide it. And then she passed not that long later. And I firmly believe that when a dog is ill, now I know there's certain things that are required by law, right? If you follow me, there's certain things that are not. And if I could go back, I think one was required by law, although I wouldn't have done it again in light of her being already sick and throwing that on top of it. But what was the kicker is, as she was getting worse rapidly, I had two friends reach out to me and they said, what heartworm med is she on? And I told them the brand, and they go, oh, Sonia, you got to stop it. I've got goosebumps because it makes me want to cry. So I actually did stop it at that point, but there is an entire Facebook group dedicated to owners of fur babies who were put on this particular medicine who've had similar downhill slides. So when I talk about fur baby health, I'm going to talk mostly about things that we can do within the four walls of our home, help keep them healthy. But I share that story because I'm committed to share the tough stuff too here, in case it can help you make a more educated decision if and when. Now, the vet presented this as a better heartworm medicine than she'd been on previously. However, do your research. Okay. So that's my Pepper girl. I loved her so deeply. Honestly, she was the first. I've had many pets and I've always been, sad when they pass. Like that's a normal thing to grieve them. Whew. Didn't expect to get emotional, but I was just praying and I thought, oh Lord, if there's fur babies who get to greet us when we get to heaven. I would love to see her come running. And I know so many of you feel that way about pets you've lost too. And I believe that God deeply loves animals. That's why he created them. Now, I don't believe they're created with a spirit the way he said man is created with a spirit, but they are his creation and he loves them deeply. So I'm hoping that when it's my time to move from this planet to heaven, that all those fur babies that we have loved get to be there with us. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now, that is not a biblical statement. I understand all y'all, but I also do believe that God really loves his creation. So who knows? Anyway, no matter. I'm just sharing. Yeah, I'm just sharing. That's it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your sweet comments, you guys. I see you. I receive your love, and I know that I'm not alone in how we grieve these loved ones. Okay. Whew. All right. So let's get about the topic of creating the safest, healthiest home and experience for our fur babies. Like humans, I think that the first thing is to eliminate toxins. Now, their bodies in many cases are smaller than our bodies, which means they're less able to even tolerate all the toxins out and about. So I always think about, like, when you go take your puppy on a walk, I watch, people in general go out with glyphosate and, various things that they put on their lawns and fertilizers, and our puppies especially, they're going to go walk in that. So one little tip is possibly considering wiping their feet when they come back in. Norwex has a little pet mitt, and you just literally wet it with water, and that fiber is going to help pull all that off. Also, and yes, I'm going to do some shameless plugs for Norwex because they have some amazing products for babies. Now, this is going to be weird with the green screen. But they have this new pet rug, and their microfiber is phenomenally known for mechanically pulling away. So I think it's very smart to have a high quality rug at your door to collect some of that if you aren't able to clean their feet. Another thing that we adhere to, and quite frankly, it's clear looking at our backyard. Like, you can tell who's using more fertilizer, who's using more Roundup, all the things, or not. And it kind of sucks because there's various weeds and things like that. But Maple runs in our backyard, and I just don't want her exposed to that. So, things like that, like really checking your toxic load that your fur babies are exposed to. And when we talk about toxic load, another really big piece is indoors. And a lot of people don't think about it. You hear me talk about detoxing our homes. You've heard me talk about it a lot from the human standpoint, in that it messes with your endocrine system when you're using chemicals in the home and outside of the home, both. And so pet cancer is on the rise. A big piece of that is, I believe, attributed to food quality and to toxins. And I learned many years ago, now over a decade ago, I learned from one of my customers, and she actually hosted an event at her house because she wanted all her friends to know about Norwex. And I got there, and then her beautiful golden retriever greeted me at the door, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's gorgeous. And she goes, oh, wait till you hear his story. We thought we were going to lose him. He had lost almost all his hair. He was so ill. And she said, we took him into the vet, and the first question the vet asked is, do you by any chance have any of those plug-in air freshener type of things plugged in your house? And she said, I had him in every single room because I didn't know. And he said, you must immediately get those out. And she did. And that was what she attributed his complete recovery to. And that's just one example. But I would say that fragrances, like, do your research. You'll hear me talk about this. Artificial, fake fragrances are not regulated, and pretty much anything you can imagine can be put into them. So look at what fragrances you're using in your home. Not only is this for your fur babies, of course, this is for us too. And it's just going to help you live a healthier life. Oh my goodness, Kat, it's so good to see you. Kat is saying in the comments, it's so timely you're talking about this because we just welcomed 5 puppies earthside last night. Oh my goodness. And speaking of pets, maybe you saw my little Instagram live. I had some chickens who got broody. And for those of you who don't know chicken stuff, that just means mamas want to become have chicks. And so they just start laying in the nest box. They try to lay on every egg. If they sometimes will peck your hand, and they're innately made to want to bring about chicks. And so I had 3 bantam hens, which are just smaller hens, and they wouldn't move. Eggs or no eggs, they were just in the nest box. And so I separated them away because sometimes when one chicken starts going broody, the whole bunch get this great idea that they should lay on eggs. And it's problematic because they stop laying eggs when they go broody. But anyway, I let these 3, I just put them in a different pan and let them just lay on a few eggs. And yesterday I went out and there's baby chicks running out there, and oh, are they so cute. And the mamas are so happy and they're all protective. Anyway, so speaking of puppies, I was just thinking about, God's miracle of life and how he brings animals, and it's just beautiful. I love life. Okay. So detox your home, look at your cleaning chemicals, look at your floor cleaners. A lot of people don't think about this, but if you are leaving chemical residue on your floor, your pets are walking around, absorbing it directly into their paws, licking their paws. It's all over them, and they're very exposed. Plus they're much closer to the ground typically to breathe in the fumes. So obviously, what can you do about it? Literally look into Norwex. I don't care if you buy it from me or someone else. I am telling you what, it makes so much sense. Just the product line, it's going to save you so much money, which, hello, who's not good with that? We can pamper our fur babies more if we don't waste all our money on cleaners and paper towels and disinfectant wipes. It's going to save you so much time, which are bonuses. But most importantly, it's going to create a safer environment for you and your pets. Okay. And if you've got grandbabies, if you've got babies, all the things. Okay. So clean out those chemicals. Look at air fresheners first. That's deeply impacting your air freshener or your air quality. Look at cleaners. Again, the research is not good on these. And then a huge one is laundry. So also when you're washing your pet products, are you washing them in mainstream laundry soap and fabric softener and dryer sheets? Do you think you're doing them a favor thinking, oh, it smells so fresh because before maybe it smelled doggish? Yeah, I used to think that too until I learned how potentially toxic those items are. So I believe one of the worst things we can do for ourselves and our fur babies is to wash their stuff in what we've been told is normal laundry. Okay. Again, there's better options out there that are non-toxic. I love the Norwex liquid laundry soap because it has enzymes in it. It does have a light natural lavender smell. And so if you still like a little bit of fragrance, you can get it unscented as well if you're no fragrance. But the enzymes are dynamite because they actually eat up that odor. So you don't feel the need to cover it with chemical fake fragrances that are potentially harmful. Also from Norwex, they have their odor eliminator. This is a concentrate. You dilute it 1 to 7. So this will go a long way. And you just get a spray bottle. I don't care. Norwex has the forever bottles. I love them. But just go to the dollar store and buy one, whatever. Dilute this. Use this on you can use it on pet beds. You can use it as an air freshener because it actually is meant to go in the air. You can use it in laundry if you have extra stinky laundry. And it's part of our enzyme line. It's amazing. It's called Odor Eliminator. It just is really great for fur babies, especially if you're like, I don't like the stink. But while we're talking about this, Norwex just rolled out a brand new product. And now Maple is half poodle, half Australian Shepherd. And so she doesn't shed at all, which is kind of a great thing being half and half, because sometimes you have to go 3/4 poodle before a dog won't shed. So I'm super grateful. She's half and half. And her personality is, from all my Aussie owning friends, her personality seems extremely Australian Shepherdish, but she doesn't shed. So I love that. And she also doesn't smell as doggy as Like we've had labs in the past and things like that. Certain dogs have more oils on their skin and they're going to have more odor. So this product here, I am hearing such rave reviews. And if you want to help with the doggy stink, it's called Dog Deodorizer. And hey, if you have a Norwex consultant, call them up, put your list together. If you want to shop with me, you can. And if you just go to the detoxgirl.com, because I'm always talking about detoxing everything. Detox your home, detox your body, help your pets detox, all the things. So the detoxgirl.com, and that will take you to a list of all sorts of things. But in there, I said the new products, and this is in the new products, and it's like a cart ready to go, and you just delete anything you don't need, although I would just get all of it. The new products are phenomenal, but for sure, get this one here. All right. And if you just want to go to my shopping site, it's detoxourhomes.com. I've had that for many years. I know you guys probably know that one. All right. So that you spritz on their fur directly, and it is semi-miraculous on cutting through the doggy smell or the pet smell, and it's healthy for their fur. So that's of course important. And then also a new 2-in-1 dog shampoo, because in keeping them healthy, you do not want to use a potentially harmful shampoo. And this also conditions their fur at the same time. So super win-win. It's got a light fragrance to it. It's just nice. And then if you have pee and poop and puke and all the things that sometimes come with having fur babies, this pet stain and odor remover, again, is a concentrate. I think you get 6 Forever spray bottles out of this when you dilute it properly. And you can use it on carpet. You could put it in your carpet cleaner, but just spritz it on and use it in viral cloth. And it will actually go and eat up the biological matter. Hallelujah. That's awesome. Okay. So those are a few. And then, hey, before we move on, since I'm going through it, the pet towel for giving them a bath, use the Norwex shampoo. And then this towel, it has pockets. So you can like grab the moving object, your puppy, and give them like a massage and dry them. And this will take off most of the water so that when they finally get to shake, they don't send water everywhere. It's amazing what a difference this makes versus like a regular towel. So I promise you, you're going to be so glad you got these things. But by the way, Norwex does have a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. So that it's risk-free to try them out. But anyway, that's also in that shopping cart. Okay, moving along. Oh, and they've got this for like your mop to pick up the animal dander. And you can also dust your walls. It's made to pick up very, very fine dust like animal dander and dead skin cells and all the fun stuff. And so you'll see that is also this fine fiber for the dusters is new in the catalog right now as well. Okay. So creating a healthy home for your pet. Detox your home. That's your number one. Number two is using healthy products on their skin. Their skin absorbs just like ours does. So that's important. Number three is diet. So I was raised, we had farm dogs. We didn't have indoor dogs. And literally, I think we bought like Tuffy at the farm feed store. And knowing now what I know about dog food is, I would say, do your research. And I don't know the final answer on this. There was a whole study that came out that grain-free isn't good for dogs and that it can cause problems and whatever. Others claim that as long as it's a native diet, they don't need grains. What we are doing for Maple is we are doing a raw food diet. And that means like dogs are omnivores. I think cats are more straight carnivores, but dogs do include some veggies, but they're mostly, I would say, meat heavy in their native diet. And so we have found some raw food. We find Maple doesn't like turkey. So it's like she doesn't tolerate it. I don't know what that's about. So we try not to go heavy on the turkey. She can do a little bit, but raw food, we have a couple ways that we get it. But recently, just for convenience, I have been ordering online at rahraws.com. It's RAHRAWS.com, I believe. They're based out of Minnesota, but they ship it on dry ice to me. And I can't speak to pricing really, but I just love their service. And so just give them a shout out if you're looking for where you would get this. And like we like the breeder's choice and the farmer's choice, but again, we avoid the turkey, but your dog might be fine with that. But I do believe like a high quality raw food, I mean, obviously I think it's a good idea because that's what we're choosing for Maple. But then also to give them things like maybe some blueberries. But did you know, I'm sure you knew, but there are some things that are very toxic to dogs, like literally can harm them. And one of them is grapes. So don't feed your dog grapes. Xylitol. So don't let your dog dig in the garbage and get the kids half chewed xylitol gum. And chocolate, of course. So anyway, you can just Google foods that can be toxic to dogs and avoid those. But there's a lot of things, like I know a lot of people give their dogs eggs. We do give Maple some eggs as well. Having chicken, if one gets cracked, guess who gets it? I fry it up for Maple, and blueberries and things like that. Oh, I've got a 7 o'clock, so I gotta wrap this up. So look at your food choices. I've already shared with you being smart with medical choices, and I can't tell you what being smart with medical choices is because that would be considered medical advice, which I can't legally say. But what I can say is based on my experience, please do your research. Please, 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 please. And I would highly recommend finding a holistic vet. Before our experience with Pepper, I wouldn't have said that. But just going in with a sick dog and this, I would feel the same way if it was my baby. If I have a sick kid and I go in and they're like, oh, and they need these 8 shots, that's not the doctor for me. Because that would never, I mean, that's a whole topic that we could take offline anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like you need someone who is holistically thinking about your animal. And nothing against that vet. I think that as most medical professionals end up doing, it's just like kind of rote, like this is what we do. This is what we do. And finding someone who doesn't just go by the this is what we do mentality, I think is very worthwhile. So I would love to hear, what are your tips for your fur babies and giving them the best life? Of course, now this goes without saying, but lots of love. And, I think that dogs and cats both love to learn. And so keeping their brain engaged. Now, having a half Australian Shepherd, with all my Aussie owning friends, they all say, you got to keep them busy. They are insanely smart and they will get into trouble if you don't give them other things to apply that intelligence to. And poodles aren't stupid either. So she is really crazy smart, actually. I love that. And so, sure, my Norwex link. Hi, Janelle. So good to see you. So if you just go to detoxourhomes.com. So Homes has an S at the end. Detoxourhomes.com. That'll take you to my Norwex website. If you want the new product specifically, then go to thedetoxgirl.com and scroll down. I've got like a home detox package. I've got a skincare detox package, which by the way, Norwex rolled out new skincare. Oh my word. The Bakuchiol night serum is absolutely incredible. And the vitamin C serum is top of the line. So anyway, you'll see that in the new product cart. Again, if you don't want anything, when you go into any pre-done carts, by the way, you want to go check out the pre-done carts, just saying, okay? So if you go in there and you don't want something, you can just take it out. And it'll also say, hey, do you want to add on this spend and save? And you can, or you don't have to, or whatever. All right, so pet plate daily exercise and brain exercises. Janelle, I love that. So if you have a website, throw it up. That sounds super fun. I know that for Maple, we have gotten her puzzle toys, and it is the cutest thing how she figures those out. So just like super fun because they have to hit certain things to open this, and then they have to lift this, and it's just so stinking cute. But it's also really good for their brain. So I'll have to check out Pet Plate daily exercise and brain exercises because that sounds super fun. But even just training them tricks or things like teaching them which toy to bring you, all of that really engages their brain, and it also builds relationship with them and has that quality time. And then lastly, and then I really do need to go, exercise. So Overweightness is an epidemic, not only in our populations, but among our animals. And I think so many of us, like I grew up on a farm and I had this idea, the fatter the cats, the healthier they are. Like I want these cats fat. Uh, Vets would tell me otherwise. Vets would say, and honestly, on the farm, it was hard to get them overweight because they were actually out catching mice and being active. But like Pepper was very thin and fit. She was almost 10 when she passed, and people would be like, really? No way she's 10. Like she looked so young. She acted so young until the full out landslide at the end, which she became old overnight. It was so sad. But at any rate, she was thin, and I specifically had a vet tell me, he said, Sonia, people are going to tell you she's too thin. I'm going to tell you she's perfect. Like this is what dogs are meant to look like, is, that overweightness actually puts them at higher risk. So, oh, and Farmer's Dog, I've heard about them for raw, and I think they work the veggies into theirs. So that's a great option from what I see as well. And yeah, if you haven't looked into raw, I'll just share a couple tips with you on the raw food. I know I keep saying I'm going to be done. So we buy raw in a big tube of raw meat. Here's what I do is I leave it in the freezer. I take it out, defrost one in the fridge. And then while it's still quite frozen, I grab one of my Cutco knives. I'm a huge Cutco fan. I've had them for years, and they are I just really love them. And I grabbed one of the serrated, bigger meat type of knives, and I cut it based on her weight. There's a specific amount they're supposed to eat, like 6 ounces or 8 ounces, but there's calculators online, usually wherever you buy it. And so I used a scale for the first bit because I needed to kind of learn like, what is that? And then now I don't weigh it anymore. And I cut those into patties. And then I actually throw those back in the freezer for a bit, except one I take out and feed to her. And then I use one of the Norwex silicone lids, which, hey, Norwex, if you're listening, bring those things back. Those are my favorite. But I use one of the cake pan silicone lids. And then I got like little silicone dividers, and I make a layer of those, and then I feed that to her all week. But because I refroze it, it stays longer. So I don't know. That's just my way, because some people don't do raw because it is a bit extra. It's a bit extra work, but I do really feel like it supports them in their native diet, because natively they would eat raw meat over cooked meat and over dried kibble. And like right now we're waiting for our next shipment of raw to come in because I waited too long to order it. And so I had to give her some kibble that I thought was high quality kibble. But if you give kibble, make sure they have lots of water, because she's like drinking constantly, which means she has to somehow figure out how to hydrate that in her system, which is, I think, a lot more stress on their system. So look at raw, make sure they have good quality water, just like you. And we actually have found some products that help keep their teeth clean. So, okay, all the things. Well, thank you, friends, for hopping on. I want to hear what you love for your fur babies. And yeah, actually, that's really smart to make your own, because then you truly know what's in it. But it is a bigger commitment. So yeah, awesome. All right. Well, thanks for your comments. It's always so fun to hear from you guys. And I'll see many of my Norwex friends in Orlando. I fly out at 5 a.m. Southwest tomorrow morning. So that's going to be a bright and early morning. But I am super excited for the Norwex conference. So if you see me there, be sure to come up and say hello, for those of you who are in Norwex. All right. That, my friends, is a wrap for tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you soon.